And now, back to Soulful with Kiantha. Many of the cities were in the East Coast, which didn't surprise me because I'm a pretty eclectic thinker and liver and person. And then there were a few in the South. I can't remember exactly where they were. And then there were 2 in Washington State, which I had never been to in my life. Never thought about it. Didn't even really know where it was. And the 2 cities that met my criteria were were Seattle and Olympia. Seattle and Olympia, which if you've ever been to Washington State or if you live here, you know that those are 2 very different places. Very different places. So even today I wonder, wait, how did those 2 work together? But I remember looking at that list and seeing Seattle and Olympia. And then I turned around on a bookshelf that was over my left shoulder. I had an almanac. I had maps, all kinds of stuff, because I've always been interested in data and I'm just an information kind of person. So I looked up Seattle and I looked up Olympia, and I thought, well, I'm not ready to go to the East Coast because I don't want to create a life that is really hard for me to maintain because I have a little boy. And I certainly wasn't going to go to the South because I knew that in the South, as a Black lesbian woman, that probably wouldn't have been the best idea for me to go there alone. So that kind of narrowed my choices down to this Washington State choice that I'd never been to. I finished the survey, get offline, immediately my phone starts ringing. Immediately. Now, I didn't know anything about algorithms and things then, or marketing, online marketing, but apparently when you go to the findyourspot.com site, moving companies, because you have to register to take the questionnaire, and then that information is passed along to moving companies. Well, the first moving company that called said, "Hi, we see that you're in the market for a move from Arizona to Washington State. And so we just wanted to call and give you a quote on how much that move would be." I looked at the phone. I looked at my computer, and I was tickled to pieces because I thought, I'm not moving today. I just was trying to find out about the place. I just learned there was a Washington that wasn't DC 2 minutes ago. What do you mean move? And the guy said, well, how about this? How about we go through the inventory of what you have in your house, and then I'll give you a quote on what the move would be. So I'm thinking, well, why not? Because I'm not doing it, but okay, why not? And we do the inventory. He gives me a quote of $10,000. He said, so for $10,000, we can have a truck that would arrive to your home, would put all of the things inside of the truck, drive them to Washington State, and deliver them to wherever you'd like them to be delivered to. And I said, oh, no. I don't have $10,000. I don't have $10,000. So, but thank you for calling. And so then he, politely, as salesmen do, tried to keep talking. But I said, look, I don't have $10,000. So thank you for calling. Goodbye. Maybe 15 minutes later, the phone rings again. Now, this is another moving company. And so when he said, this is Joe whatever from whatever moving, I said, Joe, listen, I just got on the phone with the other moving company. This is how many pounds he said my stuff is estimated to be. This is how much he has quoted me on the move. And so I'm not ready to do any of that. So, but thank you for calling. And he said, well, wait. Well, let me see if I can beat his price. And so then he says, how about if we could do that move for you for $8,000? And I said, that is very nice of you. I don't have $8,000 either. So that's nice of you because it's nicer than 10 because I sure don't have 10 and I don't have 8. And so he said, would you hold on for just a second? And I said, sure. He put me on hold. I'm listening to the wait music because I don't care. He can take as long as he wants to because he's going to come back and say something that I can't do. So it doesn't matter. I'm not moving right this second. I was just checking things out. He comes back to the phone and this guy says, so I'm going to tell you something that's a little outrageous, but I do need to tell you. And then, you can just decide. He said, if you can have all of your items in your house, and this was a Wednesday. He said, if you can have all of the items in your house packed and ready to go by Friday, 2 days later, we can do your move for $2,000. I said, send me the credit card authorization form. What the hell was I thinking? I don't even know what I was thinking. I believe that I was just in a phase in my life which has somewhat changed. I could probably point to some situations that, a person would say, no, you're still the same way. But I have changed certainly over the years, but I was not afraid of anything. There was not a human being alive. There was not a situation, a circumstance, a job, an opportunity, a person, place or thing that I was afraid of. And I felt more connected at that time to my soul. Like I felt connected to the thing that is the best part of me and that wants the best for me. And so I just said, yeah. So he sends the credit card authorization form. I fill it out, put my credit card information on there, fax it back. You heard what I said, fax, long time ago. Fax it back to this guy. And now I've got to figure out how in the heck I'm going to manage getting everything together by Friday. And I'm not even trying to move there right now. Like I'm not ready for any of that. Like this is crazy. But in my mind, and again, that is the part of me that is most true. And I think we all have this. In fact, I know we all have this. The part of me that is always out for my good. Again, I say that's my soul, but that's always out for my good and that believes that anything is possible. That part of me said, get the stuff packed and have them take it to a storage. You don't have to live there. You don't have to be there yet, but at least get the stuff there. And then that will give you time to figure out, how you wanted to maneuver the move and all that stuff. So I had the truck come and pick up my stuff on Friday, and they moved my belongings to Washington State, where I knew not a single person, not one single person. I did not know where the grocery store was. I did not know the grocery store's name because the names are different than the stores in Arizona or in Wisconsin. I did not know where the police station was. I didn't know where the mall was. I didn't have a doctor. I didn't know what school my son would go to. I didn't have any of that information. But I thought that I would have time to get it. And again, I just trusted that shit was going to work out. I ended up deciding after they picked the truck up that I would go, because at the time I was working from home. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to drive there. And my partner and I, who I was with at the time, we were going to drive there. And then I would just kind of live there, maybe in a hotel or extended stay or something. As long as I could plug my big ass computer in and work, then I would be fine. Get to this city. And if you have been to the Midwest, coming to the Pacific Northwest is literally like stepping into Alice's Wonderland. Everything is different. The city smells different. The trees are different. It's different types of trees. The trees are bigger. The streets are different. The neighborhoods are different. It wasn't as segregated as what I grew up in, so that was very different. There weren't as many Black people and people of color. That was very different. And coming to Washington State, I never, in those beginning days, I never felt like, what are you doing? You've made a mistake. I never felt that. I felt like everything was a bunch of pieces of a puzzle inside of a bucket, and that my job and or entertainment was going to be taking the pieces out the bucket and figuring out how to put this crazy ass puzzle together. Now, fast forward to today. I'm not the same Kiantha that I was when I met Kenny Joe all those years ago. I'm not the same Kiantha that I was when I would up and move to a new state, clearly, and not know anybody or where the grocery store is at. I wouldn't do any of that stuff now. However, a part of me is the same in that there is something, it's bigger than me. I don't even want to call it God because it's bigger than that even. There is something in me that lets me know that anything that I want, I can have it. That could be my ego. It could be arrogance. I don't know what the hell it is, but something in me thinks that, and I believe it. And it's so deep. It's in the core of who I am. I believe that if there's something I want, I can make it happen, because I believe that the universe, i.e. God, works with me for all things that are good. So if I got some entity, something working in partnership with me, something that controls everything, that controls how flowers are watered, something that controls where the stars are in the sky. If that thing, that entity is working in partnership with me, we can create anything. I mean, it's not like we're putting stars in the sky. We're just creating a life. So I still have that. However, what has changed over the last 20 some odd years is that the older I get, I realize the more fearful I become of the repercussions of something not working out. So what I mean by that is, am I afraid to make certain moves? Not necessarily, but I think much longer and much harder about what will happen if this doesn't work out. This path that my life is on right now is very strange. It's strange. It's strange. I told you when I was in Milwaukee, I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea what was going to happen. And so I can tell you right now that I didn't see any of this. I did not see it. Some of the opportunities that I have right now are so insane. Some of the things that I'm working on. And I can talk about it on this podcast because this won't be released until after the release date of the other stuff. So you all know Dear Abby, Dear Abby, good old Abby, Sister Abby, who had an advice column for many, many years, an advice column that ended up being syndicated. And even after she passed, her daughter wrote her Dear Abby columns for a while. Dear Abby was syndicated in 1,900 news outlets worldwide. 1,900. So that means every time her article came out, the same article came out in 1,900 different places. Her words. She was a housewife. She was a housewife that just had really practical information. Well, guess what? I have a Dear Kiantha column in the Spokesman Review Unreal. Do you know what that means? That means that they never did a black Dear Abby. Abby never had an opportunity to be black. She was not going to be a black woman. And Abby probably should have been a black woman because we have good advice. But the opportunity to do that and to build a partnership where I can share my thoughts, my words, my advice, my stories with people everywhere. It's just so big. It's so big that I didn't see it. You know how something can be so big that it's in your face and you can't see it? That's how this was. That big that I couldn't even see it. And it was right in front of my face. I want to give you a little context really quick too, because I've had to figure out how to explain this to my family and to my friends who are not living the same life that I live, who have not left Wisconsin, who don't have a, broader understanding of the world. And, I've tried to figure out how to simplify this down to a way that they can understand the magnitude of it. And this is the simplest way that I can describe it. When I moved to Spokane, Washington, I had the opportunity to write for the Black Lens, which is the Black newspaper here in Spokane, Washington. The day that I learned that I could write, I won't even ever forget the date. It was November 17th. The day that I learned that I could have the opportunity to write a column, a monthly column for the newspaper, I was so excited. It meant everything to me. Like just the thought of my words. I had two columns over my time there, which was just about 3 years. I wrote a column. The first one was called Heads Up Spokane. The second column ended up being changed to Because I Love You, because I realized that all of the things that I spoke about in the column were things that I was telling people because I love them, like because I want the best for you. And so we changed the column to Because I Love You. The Black Lens, I don't have the exact number, but I'm pretty sure that their subscribership is less than 5,000. Pretty sure of that. To me, it didn't matter because for me, it was like writing for the New York Times. But it was just little Spokane. But that's how I saw it. So less than 5,000 subscribers. Since then, I have had the opportunity to work and write a column that's called Soulful Living with the Spokane Coeur d'Alene Living Magazine. Another one that this is a magazine in a very conservative town that I have a column about soulful living, a Black woman. Now, the readership for Spokane Coeur d'Alene Living Magazine, when I learned that their monthly readership was 100,000, I almost passed out because I realized I went from 5,000 people hearing my words to now 100,000 people reading and hearing my words. All words about love, all words about soulful living, all words about being completely present. Like I'm telling you my thoughts. And I thought that was, oh my God, I couldn't see anything bigger because that was amazing. 100,000 people? Whoa. Then when the opportunity came to write the Dear Kiantha column, and I learned that the readership for the Spokesman Review is 1.65 million a month. 1.65 million a month. And that's, you add the 1.65 onto my 100,000 onto my 5,000. That felt big to me. I mean, this is all just, I'm so grateful for every piece of it, but I didn't see any of it. I didn't see this stuff happening. So That is where things are now. But guess what? I know for sure. I feel it. I feel it in my stomach. I feel it in my chest. I feel it in my words. It's in my mind. I know that the universe is getting ready to do something extraordinary in my life. And again, when I say universe, I mean the universe, God, because, that's what I believe in. But whatever you believe in is fine, too. I know that it's getting ready to be bigger than anything that I could have imagined. So when I think back again to meeting Kenny Joe, to meeting him and who I was at that time and where my life is now, it's surreal. The other thing that Kenny's death brings to mind for me is that all of us, every single one of us, every single person, I don't care what your political belief is, I don't care what your social economic status is, I don't care where you live, what you drive, how many kids you got, nothing. Every single one of us get one turn. We get one turn. And on this turn, we get to make decisions about what we're going to do. And then one day suddenly, and it might not even be day, it could be night, but one moment suddenly, your time is up. Just like Kenny Joe, for today, his time was up today. Something that I didn't mention is that he wasn't sick or anything. He just passed away. So his time had expired. The fact that I get to keep living is not because I'm any better than Kenny. Excuse me. It's actually because that's just my lot. My time hasn't come yet. And so what I have to do with the rest of the time that I have is live my biggest life, be open to learning more, be open to the transitions that are going to happen, be open to loving along the way, and lastly, be open to sharing the process with you guys. All right, I'm done. I love you. Thank you so much for listening to Soulful with Kiantha. Please keep in touch with me on Facebook and Instagram. Email me with any questions at kiantha@socialmedia.com. That's KIANTHA @SOULCIAL media.com. To all my supporters and listeners, without you, this would not be possible. A special thank you goes out to all of my team who help make Soulful with Kiantha a success. Have a great day, everybody. I love you. This podcast is sponsored in part by We Are Volunteers of America. At VOA Eastern Washington and Northern Idaho, we specialize in providing care to youth and adults with housing first solutions and low barrier access to services, because homelessness shouldn't be a life sentence. For 125 years, we've been uplifting individuals, communities, including disabled adults, veterans, as well as pregnant and parenting teens, helping them to weather life's storms. Our work touches the mind, body, heart, and ultimately the spirit of those we serve. voaspokane.org. Our City, Our Stories. Do you have an idea for a podcast? Are you ready to share your thoughts with a worldwide audience, but don't want to invest in podcasting equipment? At Spokecast with a K, we offer on-site recording through our mobile studio, or join us at our Spokecast studio located at 304 West Pacific Avenue. Please contact us at hello@spokecast.com. Maker and Made, your not-so-secret team of creative powerhouses. Whether it's a brand identity, website, fresh packaging, product photography, or social media management. We're the girls for all things marketing and design for your business. Contact us at maker-made.com.